Alright, you're welcome to this audiobook. This is Uche A, the author of this book, Minding the Mind, and this is an audiobook. So we've done chapter 1, chapter 2 in the previous episodes. I hope you've listened to that. I hope you've listened to that, and if you've not, make sure you listen to that before you come to this. So this particular chapter 3 is talking about healing from persistent trauma. So when we talk about, having trauma is just, something that happened to you that hurt you. Anything that happens to you that hurts you could lead to trauma, especially if it is consistent. If the trauma is something that happened and, it's refusing to go. It's just like you have a wound and, the wound is not healing. The pain that comes from wound that is not healing. If it's the medical doctors, they will say, oh, you have diabetes and, which is not your portion. You don't have it. I'm just using that as an example. So that is just this. Persistent trauma is just like a wound that is not healing because of diabetes. Because you're pampering it, you're allowing it to stay, you're giving it a conducive environment to stay. But that's not that. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to, give you strategies on how to come over that situation, how to get better, how to heal, how to grow, and the whole likes of that. So let's explain trauma. Trauma is not defined by the event itself, it's not defined by what happened, but by how the nervous system experiences and stores it. What you've trained yourself to keep is what will be kept. It's not necessarily about what happened. You can forget what someone did to you, but the impact it had on you will not go. Imagine you had a fight with someone and the person mistakenly tear you with something. Maybe the person tore your clothes, or the person choke you with something, or maybe the person gave you a bruise, a wound. You could forgive the person, but you remember it, and that is if you want to remember it, if you still want to keep it. And there's a place of remembering it and not acting upon it. You can remember that someone has done something bad to you. You can still see the scar, but if you see the person, you will not use it against them. You will not say, "Oh, that thing you did to me that day. This is the repercussion. This is the consequence. I want to do this to you." No, 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 no. You will not do that. You will definitely not do that to the person. So, number one of healing from persistent trauma. These are one of the ways you can heal from persistent trauma. Understand trauma's lingering effects. Understand the effect of keeping trauma, allowing things to stay, allowing those pain, hurts to stay. If something happens to you today, you can forget it even in the next 1 minute or in the next 1 hour. But if you on your own self have trained yourself in a way that you will keep keeping that, even if you remember it, you keep putting it in mind. A lot of things go through your mind, especially if you are an adult. A lot of things go through your mind. So remembering pain is more like you just choose to remember it. You just want to keep it there. So when you understand the effect of keeping trauma, that is when you will know that trauma doesn't just stay because it wants to stay. You are the one that is allowing it to stay. So A here is talking about how trauma lives in the body. That's A. Chronic muscle tension, fatigue or insomnia, shallow breathing, heightened startle responses. These are the effects. These are the effects. You become unnecessarily weak. You can't sleep. Your breathing is too high. Your breathing is not stable. You are breathing too fast. There are so many things that this thing causes. Maybe you had an accident. You escaped an accident rather. Or let's say you had the accident. I once had one accident. I've had several accidents in my life. I still even have the scars of most of them, especially towards my leg, like my right and left leg, those two places. I'm not crippled though. I'm not crippled. But I've had accidents that could have almost taken my life. Some, and so many other ones like that. When I see this car, I only laugh like, wow. So this is how I would have gone with this accident. So many thoughts comes through my mind. But I don't keep it there. I don't live in the fear of that. I don't live in the fear of, oh, these accidents are here to stay. I don't live in the fear of these accidents, defines my life. I don't live in the fear of that. I live in the fear of the reality of my own life. Realizing that this doesn't define my life. This doesn't mean this is where my life ends. This doesn't mean, oh, this is how my life will be controlled. You have to come to that point where you start understanding that trauma shouldn't define you. Trauma shouldn't define you. It shouldn't control your life to the point where it gives you shallow breathing, it makes you not to sleep, it makes you to be responding out of fear. Oh, do they want to do the same thing to me? Does this same thing want to happen? Maybe you are in a vehicle and the vehicle seems like it's losing brake or something, and you are so scared. I mean, you become unnecessary. Don't die before your time. One of the reasons why people die before their time is because of fear. They have this fear of, oh, something will happen to me. Oh, something will happen to me. Oh, if I go here, it will happen. No. Better still, don't even think of it. I mean, when you're in the vehicle and you feel like you're scared, plug in your earphone, or listen to music. Distract yourself. Don't make it a thing of fear. Don't see it as a reason why you start to fear, why you start to bother, why you start to worry. Don't allow fear, because the moment you allow fear to rule you, that is the end of it. And this is just because of insomnia. I mean, this is just because of trauma. This is just because of trauma. Don't allow it. Don't allow it. So the next one is emotional and psychological effects. You have anxiety and panic attacks, emotional numbness or detachment, shame or guilt, difficulty trusting others. This aspect of shame, I mean, it's obvious. I mean, let's say you are in a very poor environment and you are in places where you are indebted to some people. You've collected something, you've not paid for it, and you feel like, oh, how will I pass through this place? How will I greet this person? How will I communicate with this person? No, that is not the end of your life. I mean, that is not the end of your life. You can still live your life. You can still be happy. You can still grow. The point where you start to feel shame, when you start to feel like, oh, if I cannot achieve this thing, like the trauma of not being able to afford what you need should not put you in a point of shame, should not make you ashamed, feeling like, oh, my mates, especially when you start comparing. You should not get to that point where you start comparing, where you start, sharing guilt, feeling ashamed. You should not get to that point. And so many other things. And thinking things like, oh, I'm not safe, I'm powerless, I'm broken. You're thinking like, oh, it is mine that is worst. Oh, I'm done for. My own has finished. Like, all these things is not what should come to your mind. If you, whatever trauma it is, give it time, give it process, put all the necessary things you need to put there. I mean, work hard. Just do it. Some of the things you can do, when you go through trauma, this is what we call the sensory grounding. The sensory grounding. I mean, things that would strategies, a very top tier strategy. Like number one strategy of overcoming trauma is, use this method. Practice. Name 5 things you can see. This is one of the ways to distract yourself. Like, look at your environment. What are those 5 things you can see? For me here, I can see my system. I can see a water bottle. I can see my wallet. I can see my book. I can see a cash. I mean, a paper cash here. And I can see a carton. These are the things I can see. 5 things. Just name 5 things. Now, 4 things you can feel. What are you feeling now? Currently, I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling excited. I'm feeling, I'm feeling fulfilled. I'm feeling optimistic. I'm feeling healthy. I mean, I'm not coughing. I'm not sneezing. I'm feeling healthy. Number 3, what can you hear? I can hear a hen. I can hear like hen making noise. I can hear the birds making noise as well. I can hear the trees, sounds of the trees like moving. Those are the things I can hear. Number 2, 2 things you can smell. My perfume and the the air freshener, and that's all. Then one thing you can taste. I'm not eating currently, and there's the only thing I can taste now is my spittle, my saliva, and that's all. Just get intentional about this. These are one of the things. In fact, after doing it now, I know how I felt. These are grounding techniques to distract you from your trauma. I mean, when you do this consistently, it keeps you away. It keeps you away. It keeps you away from trauma. It makes trauma impossible to grow. Trauma doesn't grow. It doesn't stay. Trauma doesn't grow. It doesn't stay if you do other things. And there are so many other things you can do here, I mean, to relieve the stress of trauma and everything. So conclusively, healing is possible. Once you understand that healing, you can heal from. Once you put in your mind, put it at the back of your mind that yes, I can heal. I'll get to a point where I can say trauma doesn't have effect on me. I don't feel scared. I don't feel like my life has ended. I don't feel like I'm done for. I don't feel like this is all. I mean, I don't feel like this is the end of the world for me. Once you get to that point where you don't feel all these things, or when you don't feel such, you don't feel, you don't feel that way. That's win. That's a big win for you. Persistent trauma may shape the past, but it does not have to define the future. Trauma may have been affecting you before. I mean, pain, deep pains might be affecting you before. But currently now, it should not be what would define you. I mean, it should not be what would define your current life. I mean, if that's what has been controlling your life before, that's what has been, directing you, that's what has been giving you fear, giving you doubts, giving you so many things before now, it should not continue. Now is the time to give way. I mean, give way. Let it give way. Give yourself the chance to grow. Give yourself the chance to mature. Give yourself the chance to expand beyond limits. I hope you learned something from this. Please get this book. There are so many other things I've not said that's in this book, and I want you to read it yourself. I want you to read it yourself. If you have more questions, you have more reviews, you have anything you want to say, contact us.